Good morning, guys. How are you? Diana here from Garden Love. Today I want to talk to you guys about 5 things I am going to be putting in the ground in the month of July. And these things basically, you can still put them in the ground. There's still things that you can grow, and there is a bonus one that I'm going to add at the end that I just thought of. And I wanted to share what you guys can be growing from seeds in the ground, because there's a perfect germination temperature and weather, especially if you live in Southern California or anywhere in California. The weather is ideal for you to have an extended growing season and grow as much food as you can. So let's go ahead and get started with the first one. What I suggest for you guys to start putting in the ground in the month of July that you still have time to grow, it's going to be your summer squash, your zucchinis. These two are my two favorite ones that I've been growing over the last 2 years, and they've been doing amazing. I'm going to show you guys what they look like here in my garden. There's still time for you to grow these. These take about, let's see, 5 to 10 days to sprout, and you're going to be getting fruit in approximately 60 days. So you'll definitely be able to harvest food before summer ends. So go ahead and put in your summer squash and your zucchinis in the ground, because you can still grow some. I'm going to show you guys what mine looks like right now. The next thing I'm going to suggest is cucumbers. Cucumbers sprout 7 to 14 days, which means they sprout very quick, and you can be harvesting cucumbers in the next 40 to 50 days, which once again, it means you still have time to harvest some cucumbers before winter comes, especially if you live in Southern California. These are amazing. I actually tried some new seeds that I wasn't too happy about because they haven't given me that many cucumbers. So I am going to be putting some new seeds in the ground so I can be growing these. I grew these last year and I should have just gone straight to these, which I didn't, which means I'll probably be getting more cucumbers at the end of the season than what I have been getting now. And I'll show you what my cucumbers look now. They're the bush variety. They're not growing very much, but they're also not growing very much cucumbers. So I'm going to go back to what I did last year. You guys still have time to grow some cucumbers in the ground or in containers. The next thing I'm going to suggest for you to put in the ground in the month of July is going to be some leafy kales, because they take a while to get growing and sprouting. By the time it starts cooling off, they're going to get big and ready for you to be harvesting some of these amazing kale leaves. These take only 6 to 9 days to germinate, which means you're going to be getting some baby leaves if you want to cut them right away when they're small, or if you want to wait for them to get a little bit bigger. But I am going to be putting some of these amazing kales in the ground. The ideal temperature is from 45 to 85, which is the temperatures that we usually have here. I might try to start some from seeds inside, do both some in the ground and some inside. That way I have a backup plan, but I have plenty of time to grow these before it starts getting cold. Not to mention that kale loves cool weather also, so these would be ideal for you to start now. You might be growing some right now, or they'll be perfect to start off when it starts cooling off. They'll be in the ground with their roots well established, ready to produce some yummy leafy greens, or purple kale in this case. So I'm going to show you what I have in the ground with kale, and I think that this is going to be the perfect time to start it and start growing some leafy greens. And let's go ahead and show you that now. The fourth thing I'm going to suggest for you to start putting in the ground, and that I'm going to be putting in the ground, both in the ground in containers, and I'm going to grow some from seeds inside, is some amazing basil. These sprouts anywhere from 6 to 10 days, which is amazing. They do great up to 95 degrees, which is even better because it's really hot here in Southern California. So this is definitely something that's going in the ground. In fact, proof that these are perfect to grow right now in the month of July is that the basil that I do have in the ground hasn't started taking off till barely this last week. So this is definitely the ideal month to put these in the ground. Go ahead and get yourself some seeds or some starters from one of your big box stores or your nurseries, and put them in the ground, because this is the month that these are going to take off. Going back to my journals from last year, I realized that my basils didn't take off till this month. So proof is in the pudding. If you have basil seeds, if you put some in the ground, and if you don't, go ahead and buy some. This is the month for you to start growing these amazing basils. I'll show you guys at the end what everything looks like in the ground right now, and I'm going to direct seed them and give you guys an update later on. So let's go up to the next thing that I am going to suggest for you guys to start growing in the month of July. And another thing I suggest for you guys to put in the ground, it might be maybe a week or two late, but you can put pumpkins in the ground, and this would be the perfect time for you to get them set up so you can harvest right around the holiday Halloween. And you can use your own berry pumpkins. They usually take anywhere from 100 to 120 days for you to harvest. I tried growing them last year. I don't have the space to grow them because they're long vining, but I do want to let you guys know that if you have the room, you can go ahead and grow some pumpkins and have them harvest around Halloween. So go ahead and hurry up, because this is one that you really have to put them in the ground right away if you want to be harvesting in Halloween. And they might not be completely huge by Halloween if you put them now, but at least you'll have a nice little pumpkin that you grew yourself, and that's always fun for kids if you have kids. So this is my 5th suggestion for you guys to grow during the month of July. I might consider trying growing one, maybe find a container somewhere in my yard and just let it bind and go wild. So that's something that I might be doing, but I did wanted to bring it up to your attention and show you guys another thing you guys can grow in the month of July. The bonus suggestion for you guys to put in the month of July in the ground, in containers, or in your raised beds is to put some ginger in the ground. As you can see, I have some sprouting in my pantry. I've been using all the ones that have sprouts. I've been cutting them in pieces, putting them in the ground. If you guys haven't seen that video, go ahead and check it out. When this video is over, I'm going to put it right above so you guys can see how easy it is to grow ginger in your garden. They do take a while for you to harvest the ginger, but that's the good thing. You can put it in now. It's warm and it's going to be sprouting and be forming the new tubers and be ready for you to harvest at the end of the year, maybe the beginning of next year. Especially if you have them in container, you can move them into a safer spot if you have harsh winters. But nevertheless, this is one thing you can still put in the garden for the month of July, which I just did a couple days ago when I did my update on my ginger video. And I'm very excited to share this with you guys. Now that I'm done showing this, I'm going to show you guys how the garden's looking, showing you everything that I just suggested for you to grow, and see how everything's growing right now, and the ones that didn't get started and that are getting started right now. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. And before we go and show you that, I want to make sure that you guys give me some thumbs up if you guys like this video. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Go ahead and subscribe so you guys can see more videos like this. And don't forget to share with your family and friends and all your social media. So now let's get started. Alright guys, here's a squash that I planted a while back. As you can see, it's doing amazing. It's growing quite a few patty squash. However, it is looking a little sad, so I'm not sure how many more patty squash this plant is going to give me. So I am going to get another plant started, and I do have one in the ground ready to go, and I think it's going to do fantastic. Let me show you guys that now. Alright, here's another patty squash that's taking forever to get started. We're in the month of July, and as you can see, it's finally getting started. There is a little baby patty squash. These germinate really fast, so you can be having this in the next week or so and be getting some new fruit. So go make sure to put it in right away so you guys can have a plant just like this one, and by the end of the summer it's going to be as big as the other one and have tons and tons of fruit. Here is my zucchini plant. As you can see, there is some zucchinis right there that's growing on my plant. This plant is pretty big. It's been in here for the last few weeks since the growing season started, but it's looking like it's not going to be all that pretty in the next few weeks. So what I'm going to do is grow a new one and wait for it to sprout and then replace this one. Alright friends, here are the cucumber plants that I mentioned in the video just a minute ago. As you can see, there's tons of cucumbers. However, they're not growing big enough for me to harvest. I'm pretty disappointed with these seeds. So I'm definitely going to start growing my own seeds, even though this is bush and compact and it is using up just very minimal space. I think even if the new plants take off this whole fence, as long as it's producing fruit and giving me a better harvest than what these plants are, I think it will be a lot nicer than to have a compact that's barely giving me 1 or 2 cucumbers. I might be speaking a little too soon because there is tons of cucumbers on this, but maybe they'll all ripen and grow at the same time. I will keep you guys updated, but for now I'm going to sow some new seeds with the variety that I am used to growing from last year. Alright, and like I mentioned, basil is the perfect thing to start in the ground right now or in your containers. These basils I started since the season started, and as you guys can see, they're not growing much. This growth that you're looking at right now honestly has happened over the last week. So this is definitely the time for you to start growing your basil in the ground or in container, because I'm noticing that they are growing a lot better during this month than they have been in the last few months. And furthermore, I have records from my last videos from last year that the basil did exactly the same thing in the month of July. It took off. So basils is definitely the thing to start in the month of July. So go ahead and get some seeds or some starters from the store so you can get started with basil. My goal for this summer is to definitely grow tons of basil, because last year I did tons of pesto and my family loved it, and it tasted so good because it was homegrown, organic, and I want to do the same this year. So I am going to start tons of basils all over every single empty space that I have in these raised beds, because these are going to be coming out soon and I'm going to be replacing them with new ones. Let's continue. Well, like I mentioned, I'm going to start kale because all the kales that I did start at the growing season have been definitely been eaten by something. It's okay, I'm gonna start new ones, and as you can see, they didn't grow much. So last year the same thing, they started growing more at the end of the growing season or the middle of the season, so this is the time to start doing it. I put these seeds in here from basil. I know I'm switching shifts now, but I want to point out that these are barely growing more than they have been over the last few weeks. So I am definitely putting basil and kale in the month of July. Friends, before I conclude this video, I want to finish off by asking a question. There is a spider that I've tried to move the spider web several times. I haven't successfully killed the spider. I don't know if I necessarily want to unless it is dangerous. Spider, can you guys take a look and let me know whether you guys recognize the spider and if you guys think it's a dangerous spider. Here it goes. If you recognize this spider, please leave it in the comments down below and let me know what kind of spider it is, what you suggest I do, and should I be concerned. Alright guys, you guys have a blessed day. Thank you for coming along. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.